Hi, my name is Mashanta and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I want to take you through all the PAT McGrath lipsticks that I own. I happen to own 10 different PAT McGrath lipsticks and I'm surprised by that number as well. And these are across different color families, different formula. Around 5 of them in the pink color family, 2 in the brown family, 2 in the peachish family and 1 deep red. I hope you find this video useful. So I'm going to start with the peaches. Here in the peach family, I basically have 2 different lipsticks in different formula. One is in the Satin Allure lipstick formula and this is Venusian peach and this is part of the Bridgerton collection. The other one that I have is in the Liquilust formula, which is like a liquid lipstick formula, and this is in the shade Nude Venus. And this is how Venusian peach looks. It's a lovely peachish nude formula, but if I remember right, this is quite light for someone of my skin tone. This is how Venusian peach swatches. Pretty sheer, hydrating formula. I am kind of barefaced in the sense that I have a bit of eyeshadow on, a bit of blush on, but I don't have any foundation or concealer, so this is my natural skin tone. I'll put the shade references in the description box below. I have pretty pigmented lips, as you can see. It's slightly balmy or glossy right now because I have lip balm on, which I will take off. This is the natural color of my lips. You can see there are hints of pink, but it's largely pigmented. That's a single swipe. And this is how Venusian peach would look on someone of my skin tone. And there you have it. You can see that as a formula, it's not pigmented enough to work with my pigmented lips. And as a color, it is also super light for someone of my skin tone. I could possibly make this work with a lip liner, but obviously given how this looks right now, it completely washes me out, gives me concealer lips. I never use this standalone. So this is how it looks. Very, very unflattering. But as a formula, this is supremely comfortable. So I don't know if she still makes this formula or this formula was exclusive to the Bridgerton collection. But this is called the Satin Allure lipstick, and what I have on my lips right now is Venusian peach. And I know this looks pretty bad, but I think this is a useful reference if you're ever on the lookout for a lip shade of this color. Next, I have Nude Venus from the Liquilust formula, which is like a liquid lipstick formula. It has a doe foot applicator. And it is nudish peachish as well. Very similar to the color that we just tried. It's just a hint more pigmented. And that's how Nude Venus looks. It's actually peachish pink, I would say, or pink with peach undertones. As a formula, I really like the Liquilust formula. It's liquidy, it dries down matte, but doesn't weigh me down, doesn't dry my lips out at all.
I woke up in my bed, but you lay next to me.
As you can see, it's a super pigmented formula, but the shade itself is super light for someone of my skin tone. I could potentially make this work with a bit of lip liner as well. I want to show you how this looks once it dries down and oxidizes. So this is just one layer of the lipstick. It does take a couple of minutes to dry down though. And this is the lipstick now fully dry. You can see it's a bit more palatable once it's dry. And I think if I go in with 2-3 coats, I could still make this work with a deeper lip liner. This is how Nude Venus looks on someone of my skin tone. As it's dried down, it feels so comfortable. It makes your lips actually pillowy soft and it doesn't feel like I have any lipstick on. Therefore, I really like the liquid matte formula. I don't know if this range is still available, but I do remember that the shades were sort of limited in this range. But if you ever get the chance to try the Liquilust lipstick range from PAT McGrath, I would highly recommend it. Of course, go for a more flattering shade that would suit your skin tone. Definitely don't make the mistake that I did with this one. Speaking of the Liquilust formula, let me try the other Liquilust formula that I have in my collection, the only other one. This is how we progress into the family of browns. So I have one Liquilust formula in brown and brownish red, and another matte Trance lipstick formula, which is PAT McGrath's signature bullet matte lipstick. So let me start with the Liquilust, and this is in the shade Spellbound. Again, you have a similar doe foot applicator. And you can see this is brown with peachish red undertones. It looks quite light, but when you go in with multiple swipes, it does apply deeper.
The time and my eyes started watering. Everything's
As you can see, it's super easy to apply. That was just one swipe and I'm still going.
Everything feels alright.
That is Spellbound Dry Down. I think it looks lovely. It's a beautiful peachish liquid lipstick with brown undertones. I think this is the perfect nude, peachish, brownish formula for someone of my skin tone. And this is just a single swipe, like I said. If I can deepen this up with more swipes, but I like how this looks with a bit of lip liner. It can really accentuate and be very, very flattering on your lips. I am in love with this formula. I find that it makes my lips look more even, more juicy. I really like the way this, you know, and I feel like with the rest of this makeup as well, this really ties the entire makeup look together. Anyway, I will stop now because otherwise I'll go on and on about this lipstick. This was Spellbound from the Liquilust formula. Now moving ahead, I have Flesh 3, which is the standard bullet matte trance formula that PAT McGRATH is famous for. This is a brown with reddish undertones. Honestly, I would highly recommend this if you're in and around the brown skin family. It's an extremely flattering lip color on brown skin tones. Again, one of my favorite formulas, deeply pigmented, very comfortable to wear, long lasting, non-drying, the works. See, that's why I have a lot of different colors in the same lip formula, because I like this formula so much. That's a single swipe.
Without you, I wouldn't be here.
See what I mean? Such a lovely, flattering lip color. I really like this lip color, not only for how flattering it is, but like I said, for how comfortable it is. I can wear this and it easily lasts 5 to 6 hours. I don't have to worry about touch-ups, but it's also not transfer proof. So it does transfer, but because it's so pigmented, you don't mind it if it transfers. The one thing that I would call out with this one is that the bullet is quite delicate. So if you can see, it is quite damaged and can break easily. You have to be careful when you're carrying this around, especially when you're traveling. And the other thing with the liquid lipstick formula, it's not a big con, but it is slightly more difficult to take off versus other lipstick formula from luxury brands. Just something for you to keep in mind. I wouldn't say it's very difficult or to rub off, but you just have to bear in mind you need to take a bit more time, a bit more care while taking that lipstick off. Wow, all of these formulas have quite interesting names which are also tongue twisters. So wish me luck as I progress through the whole video. Now onto the pink lipsticks that I have. I incidentally have 5 pink lipsticks. And all of them are the matte trance formula, so the standard bullet lipsticks. Oh, sorry, of the 5, I have 1 in the Satin Allure family versus the remaining 4 in the matte trance family. So the first that I have is entranced in the Satin Allure formula, and this is how it looks. You could call this pink, you could also call this like brownish nude. It can operate across there, but I think it's a really lovely formula. So quickly going in with entranced.
Beautiful, sexy, comfortable with me. Wanna hear your story.
Oh wow, this really is pretty. This is one of those lipsticks in which the formula is a win, the color shade is a win. It's a pinky, mauvey, brownish color, very flattering on my skin tone. In fact, I think it looks really nice with today's makeup as well. And you can see it has a bit of a glossy finish. It's a very comfortable formula, so it doesn't weigh your lips down. But of course, it is not transfer proof, so you will see this transfer, but you can see the difference in the pigmentation between the matte trance formula and the Satin Allure formula. So it is a bit of a slippery formula, slightly sheer formula, but even after, you know, kissing away, and like you can see, even after it transfers, it still looks very pretty on the skin. Next, I have Omi in the matte trance formula. This is a beautiful light pink color, but I think it's a slightly too light to work on my skin tone standalone, so I always need to use some sort of lip liner to make this work. As a formula, as a color, I think it's incredibly pretty. It's like a cool toned pink. You can see that's how Omi looks. It's really lovely.
You and me like happy, beautiful, sexy.
formula honestly is so comfortable. It's a pity that this shade is a bit too light for me. But I have made this work with a deeper pink lip liner, so it just needs a good lip liner. This is how Omi looks on someone of my skin tone. I wish it was an effortless pink, but it is a bit too light. But I really love this formula. I love the longevity of this lipstick, and I love it in combination with some of the other lip liners I own, like the NYX lip liner in Ever or the MAC lip liner in Soar. So I don't mind trying to go through those extra steps to make it work, because at the end of the day, I do really like the combination of that and this lipstick color on my skin tone. Let me know what you think. Do you think this works well standalone, or it definitely needs lip liner? Next, I have Christy, and I think this is again the similar problem of it being too light for someone of my skin tone. This is how Christy looks. There's a bit of blooming on the lipstick, but that happens when it's slightly old. But I've used this lipstick before, so it's not like a fungal growth or anything like that. And this is how Christy looks, and you can see it's a bit more peachish, bit more nudish compared to Omi. And I know right off the bat, just as how Omi was super light on me, this is gonna be even lighter. I never go for this lipstick. I've only held on to this for creating videos and for reference purposes. There you got it. This really gives me concealer lips. I had to believe, I don't think I can even make this work even with a lip liner. This is possibly the worst lipstick of the entire bunch, no? What do you think? Again, as you can see, absolutely love the formula, but the lipstick itself is so bad. It is so not flattering on me. It's giving me definite concealer lips. I would stay away from this lipstick with a 10-foot pole if you are in and around my skin tone. That was Christy. Next, I have Beautiful Stranger, which I don't know, seems very similar to Omni. Sorry, the bullet is slightly broken. That's why I'm being a bit delicate with this. Yeah, you can see Beautiful Stranger is exactly between Omni and Christy, but it's a bit more warmer tone, whereas Omni was a bit more cool toned. So I wonder how this will look on my skin tone. Oh, you know what? Beautiful Stranger actually works much better on me than Omni does. I think it's because of the undertone. It is slightly more warmer, so it works with my neutral to golden undertones as well. And so even if it is lighter than Omni, I can still make this work without a lip liner, which I find is so interesting. Oh.
Wanna hear your stories.
Honestly, I see myself in the mirror and I think it's a lot more flattering, whereas in the camera, I feel it's getting washed out for some reason. Probably because I'm filming in daylight and it is quite sunny at the moment. So let me try to get you closer to show you how this looks in the shade. So I'm just going to get you closer away from the sunlight. Can you see what I mean by it being a super warm lip color? This work better in the shade, but I did want to show you how the lips look, how the colors look in natural light, in sunlight, just so you have a fairly clear reference, because lighting plays such a huge role. I could do this with studio lights, but I typically find that studio lights can be misleading. It can make a lot of colors look flattering when they're actually not that flattering. But Beautiful Stranger is an exception. I would say it actually looks a lot more flattering. I mean, it is still bright, so if you're not a fan of bright colors, then you might feel a little uncomfortable playing with this shade. But personally, I do think that it looks a lot more, a lot more flattering in person than on camera, I think. But I can definitely make this work with lip liner. It's not as bad as Christy was, for example. And finally, on to my last pink lipstick. This is the shade Femmebot. This is how it looks. I think it's going to be a similar situation as Christy, in the sense that it's going to be a bit too light, a bit too peachish to work well on my skin tone. But let's swatch and try. And that is how Femmebot looks. My expectation was right. As you can see, it's much closer to Christy than it is to Omi or Beautiful Stranger. I definitely know this isn't going to look good on me.
I looked up at the sky with you walking next to me.
Okay, it looks really bad on camera. In real life, it still looks kind of workable with a lip liner. And this formula is brilliant. I just wish I had the right colors. It really slides over your lips. But yeah, really not a fun shade. It kind of gives me flashback to teenagers or folks in their early 20s from 2000s UK. I think this is how their makeup used to look. I've seen a lot of memes around it. Not a very flattering color. I wouldn't recommend it if you're in and around my skin tone. This is Femmebot. And finally, we're down to our last lipstick. This is the only red lip color that I have from PAT McGrath. I've also maintained the packaging because I think the packaging is so luxe and pretty. This is in the Luxe Trance lipstick formula in the shade Sedition. This is how it unpacks. It's like so much drama. It's very dramatic, I would say. So this is how the casing looks. This is Sedition. It's similar to the Satin Allure formula. It's just that it's a bit more, I would say, pigmented. And it's a beautiful maroon red. I hope you can see. And again, because of the color, I do think it's quite flattering on someone of my skin tone. And I love how pigmented this lip color is.
Beautiful, sexy, comfortable with me. Wanna hear your story. You and me like happy.
This is a really interesting formula. It's quite satiny, but the minute you apply, it sort of dries down and doesn't budge. So it's quite an interesting formula, deeply pigmented. Definitely not transfer proof. When you wait for a bit for it to dry, it does dry down to a bit of a matte finish, but not an uncomfortably drying matte finish. It's like a hydrating matte finish, if that makes sense. I do think this color looks stunning on me. I didn't think this color would work with the makeup look that I have today, but as I look at myself in the viewfinder, I do think it's quite flattering. It's also a bit of a blue toned red, like a cool tone red, so it does make your teeth whiter. Like, I do think it is making my teeth whiter here. Honestly, I also do think that it is making my lips look plumper, more juicy. I don't know if it's because of the shiny finish or of the natural overline that has happened because of how pigmented this formula is. This is Sedition. I don't know if PAT McGrath still has her Luxe Trance formula, but I do really like this shade and I keep gravitating towards this shade whenever I get the chance. The only problem is I have way too many red lipsticks, so I keep forgetting to use this shade. It's like the perfect pick-me-up shade for whenever you want to look a bit more alive, look a bit more put together with minimal effort. So those were the 10 PAT McGrath lipsticks that I have. I hope you found this video helpful. Please let me know what you think looked best on me. Please let me know what your favorites were in this, and do let me know if there are any other recommendations, suggestions for other videos, video ideas that you may have. I would love to play around with my collection to try to put that together. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this channel, like this video, like me, then I would love for you to subscribe and be part of this community. I'll see you around. Bye!
Beautiful.